Hello, KGC fans and listeners. Before we get into today's show, I want you guys to take a second and think about bullying and think about harassing and just think about online bullying in general. Today on our podcast with Jody Medford, we talk everything about bullying, harassing, and we talk about his charity that he does to help prevent that. And so I just wanted to make a mention to stop bullying and stop harassing all around the world. Just because somebody doesn't agree with something or just because somebody does something funny, that doesn't mean you interrogate them to where they could actually commit suicide because they feel shy, they feel left out because of how belittled you made them. With that being said, stop bullying, stop harassing all around the world. Use this world for a better place that God created it to be. And with that being said, please enjoy this podcast today that I did with my buddy, Jody Medford. See you on the next one. Hello, KGC fans and listeners. Today I am joined by one of the greats. Don't forget, we're gonna talk everything from CDs to his music to his influences to where he's even calling in from. I am joined today by my good buddy, Mr. Jody Medford. How you doing, Jody?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Such an honor to have you on the show, my man.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So talk to us a little bit about your music and talk to us about how you got started in music.
Well, the area that I live in Western North Carolina is really big on Southern gospel music. So when I was a kid, I had a lower voice than most kids did. So my mom got me introduced to some people who taught me how to sing the bass part as well as singing lead. And so I got to travel early in my career with a lot of the big names in Southern gospel music. And I was with a bunch of different quartets and learned how to sing bass and lead. And then, man, after that, I just was doing a lot. I've sang almost all my life as far as making a living. So it's been worked at Dollywood for almost 8 years and worked in shows in Branson, Missouri and Branson, Missouri. Worked at Silver Dollar City and worked at a show on the Strip at night. So done that for about 8 years also. So just a lot of fun.
Talk to us a little bit about working at Dollywood and what that experience was like.
Well, it was wild because, when I went in there and the first couple of years I was with the Kingdom Heirs, they're the full time gospel quartet at Dollywood. And then when I went back and auditioned, I got a job as a bass singer in an acapella doo-wop group. And then, they tell you where to go. So they'll tell you what show you're going to be in. And then, like at Christmas, I was with the Hundley Brothers and we did a Christmas show there. And that was really cool because we did all styles of Christmas music, but it was like 4-part harmony. So it was really cool to be able to do that in a show like that.
Yeah, and I think 4-part harmony is rare, and do you find it do you love the 4-part harmony
Yeah,
with
it's fun to do my own music and do solo stuff, but I like to go down and sing bass a lot of times too. And I love that harmony. When you get it perfect and you get it tight, it's just sound. It's fun to make that music just with your voice. When I was with the doo-wop group at Dollywood, we were totally a cappella. So that was really cool to go back and grab all these different styles and do it a cappella.
Well, talk to us a little bit about how you went from singing in a group acapella to acapella
Yeah,
to
yeah.
to writing your own stuff.
Well, I always wanted to branch out a little bit, and this is how it really. I was at Dollywood, and then I decided to move back and start my own group because I was just loving. I always loved the Oak Ridge Boys and the Statler Brothers, and man, and I mean groups like Restless Heart, Larry Stewart and all those guys, amazing harmony that those bands had, and I wanted to sort of put my own thing together. So me and my buddy got a group started, and we got signed to a big label, a pretty big label in Nashville. It had Mark Chestnut and Mindy McCready were on that label at that time. So it was really cool. They were called Lofton Creek. And we went, we done pretty good. Our first single done really well for us. And then the owner of the label had been around forever. And, I think he'd been doing this for 40 years. So he decided to retire. So it left all of us without a record label. So that's when I started my own thing and started doing my own music. And Chemo Forrest, you interviewed him not long ago. He got started with me. I met him when I was with that other group when we put that other group together, and he helped me get first song we ever recorded together was Moonshine, and that was a fun song to do. And since then we've been friends, and he's helped me with almost every single I've ever released. So I'm really appreciative of him for jumping in. And Cash Creek is awesome. Those guys sound great, and we collaborated on several songs.
Yeah, Chemo Forrest, like you mentioned, he's been a guest here on the show, and he's a great friend. He's a great brother, and you mentioned the Oak Ridge Boys. I've gotten William Lee Golden on the show. In fact, William Lee Golden is such a good guy. Um, he did this really to himself. Don't forget to purchase William Lee Golden's book Behind the Beard. You do not want to miss out on such a great read. William Lee is such a funny, great guy. All of the Oak Ridge Boys, Joe Bonzel, Dwayne Allen, and we're talking to somebody who sounds like Richard Sterban right now. And
I remember the first time I ever met Richard, he goes, "Who do you sing with?" And I said, "Well, I'm on my own right now, but I said, I have sang," and I told him some of the groups, and he knew who they were, so that was pretty cool.
what has I saw you with a picture with you and Dolly Parton. What was Dolly meeting Dolly like?
Oh, she's great. I met her several times, and she's always been funny and just, you know, if you didn't know who she was, she's just so humble, to be as famous as she is. She's just like sitting here like me and you talking now, so she's really cool and really funny. I got some funny stories. We stay here all night talking about stuff of her at Dollywood and coming in, popping in with everybody and talking to
Yeah,
us.
what has been some of the highlights of with your own career, whether that be opening for people or even getting to work with people?
Yeah, I've got to open for a lot of people, and I guess my two of my favorite lead singers. It's been awesome to have them, become friends, and like Larry Stewart with Restless Heart. He's one of my I've idolized that guy. His voice is amazing, and they've had so many hits. And he was in my music video. I'd rather be fishing, and that was really cool to be able to have him as a part of that. And I've got to open up for him several times now, and just what a class act. He's really funny, but a really good guy, and still, sounds as awesome as he did when he first started. And then, getting to meet, just I don't know. There's so many celebrities you get to meet when you do all this kind of stuff. It's hard to say, but just and Richie McDonald is the other guy I was talking about. They're touring now with the frontman of Country tour with them and Tim Rushlow, and that's an awesome show. And I have a charity I started called Stop the Pain. It raises awareness of bullying in our schools and suicide of all ages. And Larry and Richie have been a part of those concerts that we have to raise money. So it's been really an honor to have those guys come help us out with our charity.
I want to stop the interview for a second because you just mentioned bullying and suicide. I want you to
Yeah.
talk about that foundation that I didn't even know you started, but I want you to talk about how you came up with that because I think that a lot of the times we can talk about music all night long, we can talk about it, but if we
Yeah.
don't stop to raise awareness for such a serious cause, then we're not doing our job right. So talk to us a little bit about this.
Okay. Well, I started Stop the Pain about 6 years ago, and I lost my mom to suicide, and it made me want to start. Let's say, put it this way: I lost my mom to suicide, and then I was watching TV not long after she passed away, and I saw where a little girl at one of the local high schools had been bullied, and she couldn't take it anymore, and she committed suicide. So I called her mom and told her I was going to start a concert to raise awareness and raise money for families that had lost loved ones to suicide, so they could help with funding. Because I know when my mom passed away, it was such a sudden heart, it's a big heartache, of course, but then you've got all the bills to pay. You know what I mean? A lot of times insurance is nullified if it's suicide. So, then the family has to come up with $6,000 to $8,000, and you got to have the funeral, and it's just a big hardship on people that are just barely getting by as it is anyway. And so I decided to start that, and it's been awesome. Larry Stewart came and was our headline entertainment for our second concert. We've just it's been awesome, the people that we've been able to help, and we want to take this nationally and try to help as many families as we can. We've already helped a little girl here locally's family. She was 15 and just got depressed and committed suicide, and we helped her family with the funeral, and we help them with groceries, we help them pay bills, whatever they need. And I'll never quit doing this charity. No matter what happens in my musical career, I will always try to make this so we can help as many families as we can down the road, you know.
Talk to us a little bit about when you, if you don't want to, we don't have to, but a lot of the time suicide is a very big thing. Obviously when your mom died, did you say what made you not go down the, oh, I want, why her? Why did she decide to do it? And go down this charity route? What made you want to take awareness to
Well,
it?
you know, um, it was such a shock because I never dreamed my mom would ever do anything like that, and I want part of me didn't want anybody to know. Part of it's like the private part of the family. You don't want people to know, that your family member done that, and you're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to deal with this? Do I just tell everybody up front what happened or whatever? And I just started thinking, it's happening so much that people don't even realize. It's like almost like an epidemic or something now with as many people. Because now that I started the charity, I'm hearing it from everybody. When anybody passes away from suicide, I get calls from everywhere with people saying, hey, you might need to help this family out. But I felt like it just was I was driven to try to help people once I got through the heartache part of it, because I know if we don't start taking a stand, it's really amazing. Because one concert we had, I think it was our third one, I had three people contact me and said they felt like the concert saved their life, that they were thinking about committing suicide, but after they realized all the pain that it causes the family, they didn't want to do that anymore. They're going to take that out of their mind and try to stay positive. And my goal was, if you save one life with these concerts, that's worth all your work and all your effort. But we have people get up and speak in the middle. Like, we have several bands, and then we have a speaker in between each band, and they tell how they lost a loved one, and tell the heartache and tell the pain. And when and I'm going to get very real right here. When you
Really?
hear a when you hear a mom crying because her son hung himself with a dog leash in the backyard and had a 1-year-old son, and he's like 24 years old, if that don't grab you, nothing can. And I mean, so many things. The girl that I told you about that was on the news that had been bullied, her mom couldn't find her anywhere, and it was during Christmas break, and found her in her closet, and she had hung herself with a necktie. And man, 16 years old, had her whole life ahead of her. We've got to raise awareness. We got to discourage people from even wanting to think that route and try to get help. So we have a lot of links on our website, and I'll give you that website now. It's just stopthepainconcert.com. And if you go on there, you can donation, and you can try to help families. That's what we do. 100% of what we raise goes to families. I don't take any money. I've never taken any money. I put a lot of my own money into it, but we've never taken a dime. We just, me and my friend Jan's the secretary, and we really care about people. She lost her sister, and so it's been a terrible time for a lot of us, but you take something bad and make something good out of it, and that's what we're trying to do.
I want everybody on my podcast, please, my listeners, my fans, my everything that watch me and support me, not only support Jody and what he's doing, but please do me a big favor and go make a huge donation to this charity, because I talk a lot about mental health, and I want people to be aware that one person can change your life forever. You shouldn't have to feel closeted to because you're scared to talk about something. Whether you and he's right, the music saves lives, and it really is a healing power. And can you say that website for us one more time?
Yeah, it's stopthepainconcert.com.
Please go to stopthepainconcert.com and and make a huge donation. I know as soon as I get done off of here, that's what I'm gonna go do, and change somebody's life. But enough enough with the donations and everything like that. And not sorry to bring us to a sad point in the show, but let's get back to the music, man. So what's I you've probably started out in probably like bars or something um with cover songs.
Well, it was really funny because we put this group together that I was talking about. The group was called Whiteacre, and that's the group that we put together. Two of the guys in the band were brothers, and their last name is Whitaker, but in the old English, it's pronounced Whiteacre. So we thought that had a cool little ring to it, so we thought we'd use that. And we had a song. It's on the videos on YouTube. It's called Trailer Park Pulp Fiction, and it's really cool. It's pretty funny. And Chemo produced that for us, so that was awesome. And Chris Latham, Chris worked at EMI, so we did this song at EMI, and that was really fun. I enjoyed that, and it is a real fun song. But once we got into that, we really didn't play a lot of bars. We mainly played fair dates. We played some pretty big stuff, other than making the video in a bar. We mainly played, fairs and private parties, but stuff that was a little bit bigger than a bar would hold. So that was pretty cool. And then ever since then, most of the stuff I've been doing is like pretty big concert areas, like opening up for some really good artists. So it's been a lot of fun. I've not had to beat the bars too much. It's been one of those things where we've had a lot of fun things to do as well,
Well,
that kind of thing.
when did you write your first song?
It's late. It was like on this first CD. I guess it was 2012, something like that was the first time I ever wrote a song. I piddled around trying to write some gospel stuff when I was younger, but I never could get anything that I was really, really, really happy with. So it was fun. Um, my song was called "I'm About to Pull a Redneck," and it's funny because out here in North Carolina, everybody gets mad, and I thought the redneck's going to come out in them, and I thought that'd be a fun song to write. And my buddy Corey helped me write it, and I was really happy with it. We got a little video to it on YouTube, but after that, I played around with several things. So I'm in the process right now of writing two songs. I've almost got one of them completed as far as musically and everything, and it's a patriotic song called "American Proud." And then the other song I wrote is for my charity, and so I'm going to release that and probably hopefully get some celebrity artists to help me sing it so we can raise more awareness of that. But yeah, I haven't written a whole lot of songs, but I'm working on it. So we're going down the road.
Well, you've probably in your entire lifetime, when you first started out singing and playing real life shows, you probably did a lot of cover songs. What were some of the favorite cover songs that you guys ever did as a band?
We do some covers with my band, and I guess the one that I really like the most is I like to do Charlie Daniels stuff. Like Simple Man, love Simple Man, and man, Johnny Cash Ring of Fire. We sort of gave it a new twist. It's still slow, but it's a little different. We got a version of it on YouTube too, so you can check it out. And Charlie Daniels and Johnny Cash were iconic, but they had some great songs that had a lot of meaning to them. So we do it, and I love Woolly Swamp by Charlie Daniels. That's a great story. So we do. So yeah, a lot of those. And of course, in the day, the Oak Ridge Boys, we did Elvira, and did American Made and all that. So I love those songs too. So
Please tell me you have a video of you doing that somewhere.
I'm sure I do. A lot of people have filmed that when we did it before. Me and Chemo have done it several times with Cash Creek. So there's a
I
lot of
I have to get that video. Not for the podcast, but just for myself, just so I
yeah.
can hear you doing Papa Mama once or twice.
Well, I did it on YouTube, and I did it on a short where it has those little shorts that you can put on YouTube, and it was the Mau Mau challenge. So it's on YouTube. You can go on my page and find it, and it'll show you that on there. So that was a lot of fun.
Oh, you have, and I bet you've been compared to Trace Adkins and Josh Turner too. Have you ever
Yeah,
met those guys?
yeah, I have. I've met both of them. Very nice guys. I mean, and I think Trace is more the way that I like because I like the more rocking country, and he's got that little edge. And then, I do Long Black Train several times a year. People request it, and we do it. So you can't beat that song either. Josh Turner's got a great voice. You know.
So I these are the last couple questions, and I just want to say thank you for coming on the show, and I really do appreciate you for coming on the show and opening up so much about your charity. But I have to talk to you about in 220, the year that we should never be talking about, everybody was sent home. Were you touring back then? And if you were, what was that like for you to be shut completely off?
Man, it was I had it looked like it was going to be one of the biggest years of my career as far as people wanting us to go do stuff. And then of course, like the world stopped. And it was really I think it was a good year for me because I started working at the Child Crisis Center in Asheville, North Carolina, where I'm from. And I started working helping kids that were suicidal and everything else. And it was really I sometimes I worked 70 hours a week, and I mean it was amazing. But I learned a lot about mental health. I learned a lot about how they take care of kids and what they do, and it was a great thing for me. I really think that even though it was a downtime as far as music goes, it was a great learning experience for me to see how to help kids and not just talk about helping them. You know what I mean? We were actually in there doing it, and we've got a lot of young kids that are hurting and they're depressed and everything, and we need to keep them in our prayers, that's for sure. But it was a great learning curve, and I'm glad I did it. I worked there for a year and a half, and then when the country started coming back, I started pursuing my music again more. So it
So
worked out.
when you worked in that facility that you talked about, helping with kids, did that also help your charity? Did you get to, because you experienced it firsthand, was it kind of like an eye opener to, actually know what it actually was talking about?
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, and you get the stats, the true stats of every kid, like in North Carolina, and what they're going through. And man, they're scary stats. They're on the website, but yeah, you learn a lot. And then that way, when I get up there to talk during the concerts, I have a lot more information, and I have the knowledge behind it instead of just reading something. I know exactly what this means compared to just reading it and not understanding everything. So firsthand, it makes a big difference. So
I'm glad that we're able to talk about your not only your charity but stuff about outside of music, because music is essential. And to quote William Lee Golden here, in 2020, Golden's a funny guy. I'm not sure if you got to talk or meet William Lee, but
met him. He's a nice guy. Yeah, yeah.
William Lee, he's hilarious. Golden said, we were all told that we were unessential. And if somebody knocked on your door, lock your bedroom door, hide, wear two masks, and if anybody knocks on the door, climb under the bed. And and you know, so it was a scary year. Did you find, writing music? Did you find you could write something about it a positive way?
I think more just the mental, uh, just in your mind. I think everybody got a little stronger. I think the main thing is you realized you could do without certain things that you didn't think you could do without, and then when the world opened back up, I realized I still didn't need those things. What I'm just talking about, like with anything, like you just were able to conquer a lot personally by having to deal with it for so long. So I don't know. I just think I think it made the world in a lot of ways a better person. We really respect being able to have these privileges now because look, we couldn't do a thing when the world was shut down. So it was just amazing. Yeah.
How did 2020 help you spiritually? Because I know that, once you were all shut down, I guess churches were closed down too. Did you ever think about saying, well, this is the end of the road, or did it grow
Well, I
your
think
faith?
it's disappointing. I think probably every artist would tell you it was disappointing just because you feel like you're on a roll. You feel like a lot of good connections. You're ready to go do these bigger and better dates and deals, and all this, and then boom, the rugs jerked out from under you. But I don't know, man. I mean, I'm just grateful to be here. We might get called out at any time, but it's been a fun ride so far, and I can't wait to see what else is in store. So hopefully it'll be some great things down the road.
Well, I appreciate you being on the show, man, and I want everybody to go purchase a Danny Stefanetti. I think she's gonna get Danny speaking t-shirts. I'm not quite sure. Uh, but I want you guys to go get this album, 17 Stars. Is the single off of here. Go get this album, Danny Stefanetti live from Big Bear. She's an amazing singer songwriter friend of mine, and she's been on the podcast as well. And I hear that Jody has some physical CDs, so you can go pick them up at his website. And
Yeah, you can get them on any place you can download from. They're all over iTunes and Amazon. I'm not Amazon, but all that Apple Music, and all those good sources. CD Baby, you can get them from all there. I probably have about 8 singles you can get off of there. So we got the remake of The Grinch, and we got Moonshine with Cash Freak, and then Moonshine with Southern Halo. And my latest single is She Can't Cook and I Don't Care. And that's a cool one. That's one of my favorite songs. I love the video to it because I produced it myself. So I love that song.
well, now I gotta hear that song because that has my name written all over it. But I just want
Just
to
real quick was the I'd Rather Be Fishing with Larry Stewart was in there. And I also have the Turtle Man in there, and I have Bill Dance, the fisherman. He's like a legend. He's been around forever. I was honored, and Jeff Cook from the country band Alabama. Jeff Cook made a cameo in this video for me, so it was great to have all those celebrities in there. That was an awesome thing to have.
may he rest in peace.
Yes,
And
what a great guy.
what a
Yeah.
great guy he was. Yeah. And Jody, I want to say thank you again for coming on the show. And when you head out to Spokane, let me know, and we'll do a face-to-face podcast
Yeah,
instead of this.
that'd be good. Yeah, that would be. I'll probably see you next January. I'm looking forward to maybe coming out and fishing that way.
Yeah.
So,
And I'll go fishing with you.
hey man, you like the guy that takes me? He's a good buddy of mine. He's good. He'll get you on some fish.
Yeah. Where is it at? Newman Lake or somewhere?
The Snake. Let's see. I was trying to think. It's in Washington State, and we also fish the corner of Idaho, the Clearwater in Idaho. That's a good steelhead area there. So yeah, we go to
Well,
all of
he's
areas.
not my father is not paying me to say this, but you know what we'll do, my father owns a fishing company, and not that he's going to want me to mention this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I will only see him when I see him, when I walk across the street here in about 20 minutes. I want to say, go purchase some fish baits and lures from Wolf Bite. That's my father. He makes them customized at home. And he makes them personally. So when you come out, I'll take some of those guys out, and we'll go try them out, and I'll get you some stock too, and I'll get your buddy some stock too.
Hey, that'll work. Yeah, man, that'd be great.
Yeah, buddy. I want to say thank you guys so much for watching the KGC show. If you guys like what we're doing here on the show, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know who you want to get back on the show, and or to get on the show, and I will do my best night and day to get them on the show. Thank you, Jody, so much for joining us, and y'all have a blessed night. Love you guys. Love one another, and always remember, don't take your life. There's always somebody who's willing to talk it out with you.
Yeah.
Stay strong, everybody.